So previously we discussed cause and effect, we talked about the question of the week, and we learned the lessons vocabulary. So this is going to be more discussion about the story itself to help you understand the details of the story, Eye of the Storm. Having discussed the question of the week, how do weather patterns affect our lives? We understood that weather patterns can affect our lives in different ways. Of course, they destroy buildings, they destroy a lot of things. Sometimes weather patterns like snowstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes can tell us which type or how are we going to wear our clothes. Are you going to wear warm clothes, or are you going to wear a raincoat, or are you going to stay indoors? Are you going to travel? So weather patterns affect the way we live, and some of the ways you could protect yourself from such weather patterns is to take shelter, always wear warm clothes, and listening to the weather reports will help you to know what to expect. Now here we have snowstorms and tornadoes. We spoke about this in the previous video, that snowstorms can cause blizzards. A blizzard is a very strong wind that blows snow into the air. And tornadoes are violently rotating winds that cause a lot of destruction. For the cause and effect lesson, this should help you to understand and complete RWN page 211. We said a cause is why something happens and an effect is what happened. Like in the first picture, the man's clothes got wet because it was raining. The boy was crying because he fell from his bike. If you miss the bus, then you will be late for school. Now those key words on the top of your screen, because, if, then, since, so, therefore, as a result of, these are keywords that help you to identify a cause and effect relationship. Our vocabulary words: destruction, expected, forecasts, inland, shelter, surge. Destruction basically means to cause great damage. For instance, a tornado, a snowstorm, or a hurricane would cause a lot of destruction. When something is expected, it means you think that thing will happen. It's expected, it's going to happen. For instance, the picture you see there, during a Black Friday shopping spree, it's expected that people will fight over the few items left. A forecast is a prediction of the future, to say what will happen in the future. For instance, it's easy to forecast or to predict or to say that it's going to rain or there's going to be a tornado in this region. The word inland is used to mean far from the sea. If you look at that picture, you have those parts that are closer to the ocean, and you have those parts that are very far away from the ocean, where you see the cars and the trees. So this part where you see the trees and the cars, this is called inland. It's far away from the sea. To shatter basically means to break into pieces. This is what happens to glasses or windows. A surge is a swelling motion, just like a tsunami wave. You could say our boat was upset by a sudden surge. Now here we're gonna get into discussing our story, Eye of the Storm. Now from the title itself, you have the word eye. Now in hurricanes, in tornadoes, in a storm, As you can see from that picture, you have what you call the eye. For example, the hurricane eye, this is the calmest region at the center of a storm. Just to put it simply, if you are standing in the eye of a storm, then nothing happens to you. It's very calm, it doesn't destroy things. The dangerous part of the storm is the eye wall, that part which surrounds the eye that goes round. The eye is very calm, but the eye wall is the most dangerous part. And a storm is simply something that is formed by heavy rains, strong winds, and sometimes there could be thunder and lightning. So our story talks about a man called Warren Fedley. Warren Fedley is a storm chaser, meaning you will see him where a tornado, a hurricane, or a thunderstorm is happening. He follows these weather patterns. He takes photographs of these weather patterns, and then he sells these photographs to people who would like to see what was going on. Now, how are these weather patterns formed? How are tornadoes formed, thunderstorms and hurricanes? How are they formed? When cool air collides or when it meets with warm air, then tornadoes are formed. When cool air is heated by the hot desert, then thunderstorms are formed. And when the ocean waters get warm, storms can turn into hurricanes. So Warren Fedley, this storm chaser, this guy who goes after storms and hurricanes and tornadoes to take pictures, he begins his chases or his studies from home. He uses his computer to get information, he looks at the satellite pictures, and he listens to the weather forecasts. These all help him to get more information about the storm. But this doesn't mean that he gets or he will understand everything, because hurricane paths are very hard to predict. You can't say when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. And we know that hurricanes are very strong. The winds are so strong that they can shatter windows, they can break windows, and they can damage cars that are left outside. They can destroy houses. They are really, really dangerous. Sometimes these strong winds can lift seawater and bring it inland. This is called a storm surge. Now, Warren uses a specially designed four-wheel drive car that is called the Shadow Chaser. It has a lot of gadgets that help him to study the hurricanes and the tornadoes. Now, in August 1992, there was a hurricane called Hurricane Andrew. Now, Hurricane Andrew was expected to hit the Florida coast. So Warren and two of his friends agreed to work together, and they set up bays, and they said they will get as much information and pictures about so-called Hurricane Andrew. The latest weather forecast, the predictions about Hurricane Andrew said it could be the most dangerous storm. Now, there's a gadget called the anemometer. You can see it on the left side of your screen. The anemometer is used to measure the speed of wind. Warren took pictures of the wind, bending trees, and broken pieces of boats could be found everywhere. Thank you for listening to the lesson. Please read your story pages.